Welcome
to the Mommy and
Me Show!
Woo!
And today we're going to have a guest.
Who's the guest? Aaron Michael?
Aaron Fonseca.
Aaron Fonseca. That sounds really familiar. Why does that name sound so familiar?
Because he's my dad.
Oh my God. So let's welcome.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay, I just want to make sure. I just want to make sure I'm here for the right reason. I was told there was a prize I was going to win today. Is there an award or some kind of award I'm winning today?
Yes.
Really? And there's a cash prize with that, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you for letting me come aboard your show.
No problem.
Long-time listener, first-time caller. But go ahead.
So, we want to ask some questions.
Well, go for it.
Ooh.
How was your days?
How's my days or day?
Days.
My days? Like how was my week?
Yeah.
My week was pretty good. My son, he cut my hand, and he locked me out of the house. He hit me over the head with the anvil, and then otherwise it's pretty good.
And how was your work doing on the air?
Oh, how's my work doing? Which one? The one in San Francisco or the podcast?
Podcast.
Podcast, your nerd side's going really, really good. As soon as we're done with this show, I was going to do a Father's Day special on your nerd side next. Is that okay with you?
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
What about for College for All?
There is no College for All Father's Day special.
Okay, well, let me ask you a question. So what do you remember about the houses you lived in as a kid? Which one did you like the best?
Probably Missouri Street. I lived in Missouri Street in San Francisco. It was big. It looks exactly like this house here, except the backyard was more concrete. That's it.
So can you, for our viewers who can't see your house, can you describe it a little bit besides the address?
Square with a dog on top. He goes, roof, roof. You get it? What does a dog say that sits on a roof?
Bark, bark.
No, roof, roof. I am hilarious. It was a Victorian house, long hallway. Somebody lived upstairs and somebody was downstairs.
Now, in case we have some young listeners, what's a Victorian house?
Old house.
Very old, like 1900s old, right?
Very old.
Like 1,500 years old.
I used to do cave paintings back then
Really?
with dinosaurs.
Why?
I was old.
Why?
I was born that way.
Why?
I don't know.
Why?
I don't know.
Why?
You're a great question asker.
Why?
I don't know.
Well, I have another question. What did you have as a child that kids today don't have?
What they don't have today? Oh, I got it. As a kid, what I had? Kindness.
Why?
Sweetness.
Why?
Respect.
Why?
No, you mean like toy or thing I owned or what my parents? What do you mean?
I mean, you mentioned emotion, so it could be something that you wish your son has, or it could just be something materialistic, like an item.
I wish he had, well, not just him, but kids. I wish kids were more.
Which you had.
What I had. I was a latchkey kid, which a latchkey kid is your parents leave you at home. They go to work because I had a single mom. She double locked the door and leave me home and stuff like that. I learned to take care of myself, and I just learned that in basic life, and I wish kids did this. I don't know how to get them to do this. That I always used to say thank you, please, and all that stuff. And I got to be honest, it's nothing I learned from my mom. I just learned if you do that yourself, you catch more bees you catch more flies and honey or whatever it is. But I just learned on my own. I just wish they had some more things where they learn things on their own about good stuff. Does that make sense? Am I really good?
Yeah.
Okay.
Why?
Oh, God.
Well, I have another why
Today's
question.
Father's Day, and we're going why?
What about which? So which family member has been your greatest coach in life, and how have they coached you, and what made them good?
Who's been the best coach? Well, I can't say who's one person's been the best because they both did something.
Why?
Uncle Frankie taught me to be funny and witty, and my brother taught me to be a pimp. Not a pimp, but
Yeah, let's be appropriate here.
charismatic and loving to women. Does that make sense? And my
Yeah.
mom was just there, like, why do you cry? Be a man. Stop doing this. Okay.
Why?
So, Aaron Michael, how has your dad been a best coach for you?
My best dad has been a coach is he lets me go with him, and he's a good father
Why?
because he's the best dad.
Why?
Because he makes me laugh and
Cry?
help me.
Why?
Because I love him and I work out with him.
Do you work out with me?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you worked out so much that your punching bag broke, huh?
Yeah.
Punched
Yeah.
you so hard.
That's why I
Wow.
have Band-Aids all over my face now.
So, Dad, what are your favorite stories that your grandparents told you?
World War II.
Why?
Oh, my grandfather used to tell me war stories about World War II. He actually was one of the first people that invaded into Japan. So he told me stories where he'd lean down and pick up something off the floor and the guns just missed him and stuff I don't want to talk about on here. But I was like 7, 8 years old and I kept asking questions. He would tell me everything about the war and I would just sit there for hours listening to his war stories because they were cool.
Now, what's your favorite story, Aaron Michael, from your dad that you've listened to?
I forgot.
I didn't forget, but I remember one.
Awesome.
He always does this. The end. In the middle of the story.
I always start stories and I'm like, oh, because actually a good story is there's 2 ways to tell a good story, right, Aaron Michael?
Right.
Once upon a time, the end. And if you want it real happy, what do? Once upon a time, they lived happily ever after. That's the story.
Well, maybe you could tell us a story about what was the most embarrassing thing that your mother ever did to you.
Pick my nose in public, tell me that this underwear looks gross, yelled in front of me that my underwear had scoop marks in it, locked me out of the house, said I was...
Okay, we're not trying to go into sad stories.
Embarrassing. I couldn't name one. I mean, there's so many she embarrassed me about.
So, what about you, Aaron Michael? Was there a time when your dad embarrassed you?
No.
Yeah, there was.
No?
Never.
Wow. Okay,
Not even in front of your class?
No.
So, what's your best memory from your dad, Aaron Michael?
My best memory is when I come down, I saw Daddy.
You saw me where?
So, when you were born?
Uh-huh.
Well, when you
2012.
when you were born, you know the first thing you did to me was?
What?
You kicked me in the face.
Really?
Yeah.
No.
You said, "Come on, my baby, my love."
T-shirt is not even out yet.
The old one was. Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
That is true. So now, Aaron, there may be some listeners, especially our young ones.
Which one are you talking to? Which Aaron? Him or me?
That's Aaron Michael, and
Yes,
you're
me.
Well,
I'm Aaron
let's
Michael, too.
No.
Well, if I was in trouble, I'd be Aaron Michael.
You're mixing your first and middle name. Aaron Michael is his entire first name. Let's
Every
get
time I
that
hear your
right.
name, I get scared that I'm going to get punished.
You should be scared. But I have a question. So some kids out there may not have met their dad like you. And I think in your life, you compensate for that in many ways by finding a father role model. Can you discuss that for some of your young listeners out there?
Well, since we're still breaking this down into questions about the Mommy Me podcast, I really didn't understand the question. Break down what? You didn't.
So since you grew up without a dad,
Oh, I did grow up, yes. Without a dad, yeah.
right? Any advice you have to give to those moms out there, guardians, or kids who may be listening to our show?
Like your mom.
Right.
I don't know. I always try to do.
You miss your mom?
Do I miss my mom?
Uh-huh.
Oh yeah, every day. No matter what, you always miss your mom
Why?
because they're the person that raises you, feeds you, takes care of you. They clothed you.
Only
To get back to your question about not having
It's
a dad.
fine. you can just do something new.
You're saying this is kind of hard for your dad?
Yeah.
It is. But from someone who was fortunate enough to see you grow up, I think also at the same time, Aaron, is that you focus on what you had versus what you did not have.
Because I don't know what I did not have. I don't know what it was like to have.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like, I didn't have a dad, so having my son, Aaron Michael, who I'm looking at right now, am I doing the right things raising him? I don't know. I'm doing, you do the best you can. But I always try to remember what I didn't get, and I try to give it to him. Sometimes it may be too much that you spoil him, and that could be my own fault. But I don't know. For anyone who's a perfect parent, I'd have to say, it's all trial and error. That's what I think parenting is.
You're right.
Wow.
Yeah, that's some deep thoughts.
That was insightful. So
that's deep thoughts, mommy me, huh?
So I have a question for both of you guys. So if you guys could go back to one day, just one, in your childhood, which day would that be and why?
Can I make it more than one day?
It's up to Aaron Michael.
Can I give it? Can I have 2 days?
Show.
2 days?
You can do 1,000.
I just need 2 days. Two important days. One important day, I go back to the day my mom stepped on glass and cut her foot so bad. It started to spiral to get her foot really, really bad with diabetes. Go back to that day and didn't let her step on that glass and then warn her about not eating bad food for her diabetes. She'd live longer. Number 2, there's a train I was taking on the K. And your mom was on that train, and I was too scared to talk to her. I should have just said something to her. Like, you know what? Because I had an incredible son like you, Aaron Michael.
Uh-huh.
I could have had 2 more incredible sons or daughters like you as well if it had just been an earlier time. I would have went up to your mom and say, you know what? You're a beautiful girl or woman at the time. And I'd like to just talk with you or hang out with you. I would have done things differently. Is that good?
Yeah.
Good.
But at the same time, you have 2 wonderful stepsons and one for me for my stepdaughter. But Aaron Michael, we had that one question for you. What is one day you would like to have back and why?
Well, I didn't have one of those days, really.
There's no day you want to fix, really?
Fix or just live because you enjoyed it so much?
What was your favorite day? Like, would you go back to Disneyland? Would you go back to
Disneyland.
Well, that was a quick response.
Told you.
And then for our special guest, what are 3 adjectives would your grandparents use to describe you?
Oh,
my goodness.
You just got to know my grandparents. Silly, goofy, fun. That's all I can think of.
Aaron Michael, what about you?
I don't have one.
No.
How would Grandma and Grandpa describe you?
Pie in my face.
No, they would go, I think Grandpa would go, my little boy.
You're
smart,
the number one.
Smart, beautiful, and kind. They would say something like that.
Wow.
And like power.
Your grandmother loves you very, very much. Even though today's my day, let's talk a little bit more about you.
Yeah. Because I want to see what you want pie. I want pie.
So, Aaron, let's ask you one more question, and then unless Aaron Michael has some more for you. So, if you could know anything about your family history, or about a relative who has passed away, what would you want to know?
Probably nothing. I know everything I need to know.
Awesome.
I had them all fill in the blanks. I'm a talkative guy, so I ask people questions.
So, Aaron Michael, do you have a question for your dad that you've always wanted to know? This is your time. He's your guest.
You can ask me anything. You can ask me how babies are born. You can ask me how chimneys are made.
Or just use your own mind. What would you like from your heart to ask?
Do you want me to break down the complete atom system and how it works with a nucleosis and breaking it down to 2 sickle cells?
But does he really know that? Okay, go ahead, Aaron
I just
Michael.
made it up. I just Googled it.
How do you break your bone?
How did I break my bone? Or
how do you?
Just in general?